The exercise sounds brutal, but it is also realistic. Basic skills are no longer enough to keep you in a decent job in America. You have to keep climbing the skills ladder. Mullen wire, which makes precision steel wire baskets for the companies Honeywell, Genentech, Novartis, and others, is based on an estate in an otherwise nearly forgotten industrial outpost of Baltimore. Many of the other buildings look unoccupied. Tall grass has broken through cracks in its concrete entry road, but Mullen wire's small corner is booming. Greenblatt, who is a staunch Republican and who has testified several times on Capitol Hill about the difficulties facing small business owners, admits that his obsession is robots. The more he can substitute technology for employees, the better he can control rising costs. A stocky man with a friendly laugh, Greenblatt listed the transaction costs just to doing the paperwork for each employee, their health insurance, retirement funds, IRA returns, and many more. He then added the cost of workers' compensation insurance, which amounts to 4% of their salary, and it added up to a tidy sum, enough to hire 3 to 5 more employees. Think about it. That's 10% of my workforce that I'm not hiring, said Greenblatt. And that's just the cost of the paperwork. I'm not even complaining about healthcare premiums. Greenblatt then marched me across the factory floor to a robot in the middle of the room. He explained what it could do. We paid $700,000 for this, he said, gesturing proudly at a large glass and steel processor. It could create 431 wire rings a minute. I did not dare ask how many people used to be employed to weld rings. It is worth every dime, he said. In fact, Mullen Wire's headcount had expanded since Greenblatt bought it in 1998. Its output had multiplied, and by 2011, it was in its 5th consecutive year of profit. The big difference was that most of the employees Greenblatt inherited had low skills. Now a quarter had postgraduate degrees, mostly in manufacturing design. And most of the rest had taken Greenblatt's hint and were trying to improve their scores on the skills matrix chart. When I took this over, there were a lot of men on the shop floor with big biceps, said Greenblatt. Now it's robots and people with skills. The march of the robot would probably have continued at the same pace even without Greenblatt's expensive paperwork. But the non-wage cost of hiring full-time employees in the United States is starting to touch European levels. Perhaps uncoincidentally, the average duration of unemployment in the United States is also Europeanizing, which means that employers are increasingly moving in one of 2 directions. One group, typified by the big box retailers, keeps most of its labor force casualized to avoid the overheads that come with hiring full-time employees. The other large category of employers, which includes America's more competitive manufacturers, are aiming for fewer and fewer employees, who in turn will need to have increasingly impressive qualifications. Unlike in parts of Europe, notably Germany but also the Scandinavian countries, there will be precious few incentives for American manufacturers to be labor-intensive. The system here screams at you, "Don't hire more people. It's really, really expensive," said Greenblatt. "Every time I think of hiring someone, I think, I wonder if a robot can do that." In its stark and widely read 2011 report on the future of work in America, McKinsey reported that more than half of American employers it had surveyed said they plan to move more into part-time, casualized hiring in the next few years, on top of the large wave that has occurred in the past 10. Between 2000 and 2009, America lost 5 million manufacturing jobs, and it gained nearly 4 million jobs in healthcare. Even under its positive scenario over the following decade, McKinsey stated there would be 0 net growth in manufacturing jobs. The neutral and negative scenarios showed further decline. It urged people without college degrees to think about becoming welders, nutritionists, and nursing aides. Even if America were able to return in the next few years to the annual growth rates it achieved before 2008,